Clarity feels strangely conclusive, not because something was proven, not because something was discovered, because movement stops, interpretation no longer shifts, alternatives lose presence, questions feel unnecessary. Nothing external announces this transition, no structural signal, no observable reconfiguration, only a sensation, stability without visible cause. What feels clear rarely feels partial. It feels finished. Edges appear settled. Ambiguity feels misplaced. Reconsideration feels irrational. But systems do not visibly simplify when understanding occurs. Variables do not step aside. Complexity does not dissolve on contact. Only representations change. Clarity often coincides with disappearance. Not disappearance of uncertainty, disappearance of its felt relevance. What once demanded attention quietly stops interrupting thought. The absence of interruption is easily mistaken for resolution. Yet interruption can vanish for reasons unrelated to truth. Fatigue, repetition, expectation, habituation. Clarity carries an unusual psychological texture. It feels like inevitability, as if competing interpretations had never possessed legitimacy, as if ambiguity had been a temporary error state. Nothing guarantees this feeling corresponds to anything outside cognition, but the mind treats it as structural fact. Obviousness requires no justification. Language reinforces the effect. To name is to stabilize. To stabilize is to reduce fluctuation. What no longer fluctuates rarely attracts scrutiny. What rarely attracts scrutiny quietly becomes self-evident. A stable description can exist independently of accuracy. Coherence is internally generated. Contradiction is not required for a model to feel complete. Only reduction is required. Clarity reduces cognitive activity, fewer competing frames, fewer unresolved tensions, fewer interpretive branches. Reduction feels like progress because it feels like relief. Relief is persuasive. Processing cost declines. Internal conflict recedes. Attention relaxes. Nothing within the sensation distinguishes truth from economy. Perfect clarity is frictionless. Nothing resists, nothing destabilizes, nothing interrupts coherence, which is precisely why it feels reliable. But reliability cannot be inferred from the absence of resistance. Resistance can disappear without error disappearing. Visibility can collapse without structure collapsing. Deep encounters with complexity often feel different. More variables remain active. More interpretations compete. More outcomes refuse stabilization. Clarity weakens. Confidence becomes conditional. The mind does not prefer such states. Instability consumes energy. Ambiguity resists closure. Clarity offers termination. Termination feels like comprehension. Nothing inherent to clarity requires correspondence with reality. It guarantees only a particular condition, the cessation of felt disturbance. Disturbance is not removed from the system, only from awareness. And awareness without disturbance feels indistinguishable from understanding. Clarity feels like illumination. Illumination can also erase. Texture flattens. Irregularities recede. Uncertainty loses salience. Reduction and revelation often share identical phenomenology. A mind experiencing perfect coherence cannot directly inspect what was excluded. Exclusion is invisible from within stability. Nothing announces what vanished. Clarity therefore resists diagnosis. It feels like evidence while containing none. It feels like structure while describing only sensation. When everything feels obvious, nothing confirms understanding occurred. Only that competing interpretations no longer generate friction, not resolution, disappearance,